Before I get into your NFL career, I want to go back for a second and just touch on you chose to stay in college one more year to break those records. I think it's admirable. Many people would have chased the check. Many people would have thought about it and said, what if I get injured? Is this worth it? I got to believe, you know, a lot of people were in your ear at that moment saying, look, you got to strike while the iron is hot. You putting off getting millions of dollars for the ability to do something great, break these records. Was it an easy decision for you? Or is it something that you had to really think about? Because I got to believe there was a lot of money sitting on the table waiting for you at that moment.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of money and a lot of people in my ear, and it was difficult until I saw that open that record book, and once I saw what the possibility for greatness, I didn't care about the money, and what I realized about myself over time is I appreciate money is important and we need it to live, but beyond that, I really don't care that much about money. For me, the beauty of money is it's allowed me to have amazing experiences. And I realized for me, the purpose of life is to have amazing experiences, not to collect money. Um, and I think we all have to find our own definition of what success means. And for some people, it's stacking money is a valid means of success. But for me, that never made me happy.
So money never made you happy.
It didn't. I mean, the only time money became an issue of my happiness was when I got married. Then it was, yeah, yeah. Then it became important because when the wife was comfortable, everything was much easier. Yeah,
Got you.
yeah.
Okay. So you go to the New Orleans Saints, 1999. Uh, Head coach Mike Ditka at the time. He does something unprecedented. He gives up all of his draft picks for you. Is this something that you knew was going to happen? Did you know you were going to New Orleans? Like,
I had no
Mike
idea.
Ditka, he's a legend.
I had no idea. I mean, he had gone on record saying that he would do something crazy like that if I was still around. But in my mind, I was gone in the top 3 picks, and he wouldn't have the ability to do it. So at the time, I thought, wow, this is a great compliment. But when draft day hit and the Browns took Tim Couch with the first pick, I was pretty confident I was going number 2 to Philly. But Philly took Donovan McNabb. I knew I wasn't going 3 because the Bengals had Corey Dillon. 4 was the Indianapolis Colts, who had just traded Marshall Faulk to the Rams. And so I pretty much was convinced I was going to the Colts to play with Peyton Manning. But they took Edgerrin James. And so when that happened, then you could hear things start to ruffling in the background, and the Redskins had the next pick. And that's when I realized, okay, something's going down. And that's when the Saints were able to trade up to that 5th pick and make the blockbuster deal. And at the time, honestly, I was so disappointed that I had slid all the way to the 5th pick that it didn't hit me for probably a couple of days when I went down to New Orleans and had the big press conference. But yeah, it was a wild time. From the outside, a lot of people would think this was the greatest time of my life, but it was rough. It was rough. I think I left New York on draft day actually quite disappointed.
Okay, so you disappointed. Is this more of an ego thing? Is it more, I can't even believe I slid down the 5th?
That's exactly what it was. Like, again, part of when where my naivete got in the way is I thought that what I did in college, showed everyone that I was the best player in the draft and that I could be a player to build a franchise around. And going to 4, I was like, okay, I would have been okay with that, especially getting a chance to play with Peyton Manning. But slipping to the 5th pick, not even being the first running back, and going to the Saints, who had a great defense, but didn't have much on offense. I could kind of feel, where this was headed. And so, Yeah, I was disappointed, but mainly it was an ego thing. I thought that I had, created a resume that warranted being a higher pick.
Understood. You know, you go down to New Orleans and you and Mike Ditka take this you pose for ESPN the magazine. Do you remember that cover?
I mean, yeah, it's a memorable cover.
Yes, it is. It's bride and groom for better or for worse.
Yes.
That photo, it stands out even to this day. Do you regret taking that photo? Or is it just something you had fun with? What made you say, "Yeah, I'll get in a bride's dress and stand next to Mike Ditka and take this photo for a national publication"?
Well, I mean, I guess in my mind, I figured out, I just won the Heisman Trophy. I'm a professional football player. I don't really have any questions or doubts about my masculinity, and so I thought it would be fine. I thought people would see the humor in it, and it was interesting because we were married for better or for worse. I mean, it was a marriage that only lasted less than a year when I got hurt and he got fired, but it was foreshadowing. I don't when the magazine came out and I saw how the media responded and people's response, I had a moment where I regretted it, but after that passed, again, back to what I said earlier, it's something that's gonna last for a long time, and people are gonna talk about that magazine cover. I think so many athletes, if all we accomplish is on the football field, eventually people forget about us, right? And I think when like my idol Jim Brown was able to take his athletic ability and turn himself into an activist and an actor and a respected elder. And so for me, playing football or sports was really about, okay, this gets me out there, but in an opportunity to have a platform. And so, I realized looking back that all those, things that I did where I got in trouble in the moment, it allowed my football career to be about so much more than just football.